You know, in Ghana, when a chief swears an oath before his elders and the gods, no one, not even his own successor, can casually overturn it. That oath becomes a standing legacy. It's why we still say the mouth that makes a promise must not forget the ears that heard it. And that's exactly the kind of deep truth Paul is pressing into today. Paul isn't just splitting theological hairs in Galatians 3, verse 15 to 25. He's reminding us of something essential. That God's covenant promise, made long before the law, was not overwritten by the law. So today, we sit with the theme, the law and the promise. And we read from Galatians chapter 3, verse 15 to 25.
That image of chief's oath, deep. It makes you realize that promises in our culture carry generational weight. And for Paul, the same is true in God's covenant with Abraham. The promise wasn't a backroom deal, it was a divine declaration. Verse 16 puts it beautifully. The promise was made not to seeds, plural, but to one seed, which is Christ. That means everything God promised Abraham was pointing to Jesus. And so, even when the law came later, it didn't cancel out what was already spoken. The law wasn't a replacement, it was more like scaffolding, temporary, until Christ came to fulfill the structure.
Exactly. And this speaks to all of us. Whether you're a student wondering if you are doing enough for God, a worker battling the pressures to prove your holiness, or a retiree reflecting on decades of striving, Paul is reminding us, we are not made right with God by effort, but by faith in the promise, Christ. Even for the artisan at Makola, sewing clothes and counting pesos, it is not about ticking boxes or fearing cases. It's about resting in the truth that the law was never the foundation. The promise was.
And yet, Paul doesn't dismiss the law. He says in verse 19 that the law had a purpose, to show us our sin. Like a mirror, it reveals the dirt but can't clean it. That's such a practical image. Think about it. Exodus 20, when the law was given, was a tenuous moment, full of fear and trembling. But compare that with Genesis 12 and 22, where God speaks promise to Abraham in covenant love. One was to guide, the other was to anchor. The promise came directly from God. The law came through a mediator.
And Ghanaian wisdom puts it well. If you follow the path of fear, you will forget the house of peace. The law made us aware of sin, yes, but it couldn't save us. That's why Paul, in verse 23, we were under the guard by the law, kept safe until faith was revealed in Christ. Christ has come now. The seed has appeared. The promise has been fulfilled. So why still hold on to what was temporary when the eternal has arrived?
It's a powerful reminder for us all. Maybe you are in a ministry and feel burnt out trying to meet every rule. Or maybe you are a parent trying to raise godly children, thinking if you slip once, you have failed. But don't let the law become your identity. We are no longer in the gathered waiting. Verse 25 says it plainly. Now that faith has come, we are no longer under a guardian. The purpose of the law has been fulfilled. Our justification is now in Christ, and Christ alone.
So today, as we search our hearts and align our message with the truth of Christ, we echo this prayer from the devotional. Thank God for delivering you from the slavery of the law and sin.
And maybe that's the invitation for us all, to stop measuring ourselves by rules and start resting in the relationship. What God promised, He fulfilled. What He began in Abraham, He completed it in Christ.
Let this be the day you step out from under the weight of performance and walk freely in the grace of the promise. Whether you are studying in Kumasi, preaching in Boko, or weaving kente in Agbozume, let Christ be your only standard. Don't rush grace. Don't dilute it either. The law showed us the dirt, but the promise washes us clean.